Hello, and welcome to our recording on Discover Padlet's new Sandbox feature, a game changer for classroom engagement from our Professional Development Week in December 2024. The objectives of today's session is to support you in understanding Padlet's Sandbox new feature, explore its potential for boosting classroom engagement, and gain practical experience in using Sandbox. So let's begin with the features of Sandbox. So what is Padlet Sandbox? Sandbox is a dedicated area within Padlet where students and educators can freely experiment without impacting core content. Think of it as a safe testing ground, a place where students can brainstorm, develop ideas, and make mistakes in a low-risk setting. This makes Sandbox ideal for interactive, collaborative activities that encourage student autonomy and creativity. So let's explore the features. Feature 1, a secure workspace. One of the standout features of Sandbox is its secure workspace. Sandbox is separated from the main Padlet board so students can explore ideas without affecting the primary content. This is especially valuable when we want students to practice or engage in trial and error learning. By providing this safety net, Sandbox helps build students' confidence and reinforces that learning is an ongoing, evolving process. Next, we have Sandbox's collaboration tools. These include real-time posting, commenting, and editing capabilities that allow students to interact in meaningful ways. Students can post ideas, share comments, and give feedback to each other, making it a fantastic tool for group work, brainstorming, and peer reviews. By facilitating these interactions, Sandbox enhances both engagement and a sense of community within the classroom. Our third feature is Sandbox also supports rich media integration. This means students aren't limited to just text. They can upload images, videos, links, and even drawings to support their responses. For example, in a science course, students might upload diagrams or videos explaining certain concepts, adding a visual dimension to their learning. This variety keeps activities engaging and caters to different learning styles. Feature 4. Another valuable feature of Sandbox is its privacy controls. As educators, we can adjust access settings to control who can view and participate in Sandbox activities. This creates a safe environment for students, especially for sensitive projects or discussions. We can make Sandbox as open or private as needed, depending on the activity and learning objectives. Sandbox also provides instant feedback and reflection tools. Teachers and peers can leave comments, annotations, and reactions directly in the Sandbox. This immediate feedback promotes reflective learning, helping students understand their progress and areas for improvement. It also allows us as educators to offer real-time guidance and support. One of the most convenient features of Sandbox is the ability to clear and reset it for new activities. After a brainstorming session or group activity, we can quickly reset the space to start fresh for a different task. This flexibility means we can use Sandbox repeatedly without clutter, making it perfect for various activities throughout the course. Finally, Sandbox includes tracking and archiving options. We can save or archive Sandbox activity, creating a record of student participation and progress over time. This is useful for tracking individual contributions, reviewing past activities, or even using successful projects as study aids. It's a great way to monitor growth and reflect on learning milestones. So this is an example of our Padlet that you can use within your delivery. And today we're going to explore the functions of it. So as you can see, first of all, this is our main sort of screen where you can actually draw. So where it says draw here and create. On the side, we have what looks like slides, similar to sort of Jamboard. And this makes it a really easy tool to navigate. It means you can also play it like this as well and utilize it in your lessons. So the branding on here is an NCFE branding, and these are really easy to create. So what I did is I used PowerPoint with my branded slides on it, and then I exported them as PNGs, and that meant that I could then use these as images and then froze them. So at the moment you can see it's froze, unfreeze it, and it means I can move it around. And then freeze it, and that way it doesn't need to that it doesn't have to be moved about. Up here you have your settings, so you can change your titles, you can have an icon, which I've got up here, which is my NCFE icon. You can have cursors where it shows collaborative cursors and names, or if you want to leave it anonymous, you can tick that off. There are many tools that you can use within, so point and drawing, all these different functions, camera, video recording, audio recording, are all really great new additions. As you can see, you can change the appearance. So I've got this wallpaper that's been set as mine from images. And you can also make sure that all the content is moderated as well. So you can make it so that objects have to be approved before they can actually be added. If you want to share, you have collaborators links, so visitors permissions, where you can change that to various no access, reader, writer, or editor. Editor is really useful because if they want the student to move anything around on the screen, you would need to use editor. If you didn't want the students to move anything, they can utilize the writer and add. You can copy a link to the full sandbox. You can make out breakout links. And what that means is it only links to one of the cards, so the students can't access any of the others, but they only can access one card. You can play it, have a QR code, and embed it and share it, and even export it as PDF at the end. So this here is where we draw here. So we've got our pointer, and you have various functions, so from drawing to text, so notes, which you might have been used to before, creating boxes with different shapes, and then loads of different functions here, which we're going to explore. So the first thing I did here was create an image, and it has a really good function on here where you can't say if you can't draw. So say if you wanted to have a science experiment students, it would then look for or create an image. Hopefully it'll take into account that I've just misspelled. Let's try that again. So now it's drawing those words. So it says it might take up to a minute to do this. There we are. So just let that do its thing. There you go. So there you go. You've got students in a science in a lab creating, and these are the different images that you can use. So it's quite fun. If you're worried about copyrights or anything like this, this is creating images that you can utilize within your PowerPoint slides or your Padlet slides. We will explore the different functions of the rest of these. So what I have always as my next slide is a contents page, because this allows us to move from different slides really easily, and then I always have a back to contents page so we can always go back. That allows for an easier transition between different tasks. So let's actually create one, because I do have a task on here. It's like the four corners, but I wanted the confidence scores at the end. And I'm going to create it up here. There we go. And as you can see, it has that same sort of alignment there. So it's that one, and we can stretch that out so it's the same. And we're going to call this four corners end. Okay. And what you are then going to do is you're going to click on it, and I'm going to link it. So these, because they're buttons, I would advise not to freeze them because that impacts their functionality. So up here you can see a little link button. So we're going to click on the link, and here's my four corners at the end. So I already know where it is in the slides. Obviously you need to make sure you're aware where it is. So I'm going to click on that and make that slide 13. So now when we play, if you click on that, we now have the four corners at the end. So I'm just going to go back to my contents page. So here's my four corners, and this is a really nice thing to have right at the beginning, starter and plenary, so students can just pop their names in here, or if you want to anonymous, they can just put, you could ask them to put a little emoji in. So let's try that. So if I was a student and I wanted to say I strongly agree, and you've told them actually just put in an image, a GIF, anything that you feel like to express that you where you are. So I'm going to put happy. And I'm going to search for a GIF. So I've put happy up here, and look, what you can do is you can pick images, GIFs, YouTube, Spotify, or web. So if I was to check images for happy, there you go. Or I could choose a GIF, woohoo, where it says woohoo with this dancing squirrel. Or I could even pick a YouTube video and say I'm going to play the Pharrell Williams Happy song as well. So that is how the students can then interact. Or they could just, if they wanted, to either put a note in or just write in as well. Yes. Okay. The next thing that I have on here is a quiz. So I'm going to play the quiz and show you how it works because it's easier to show it in a play form. So it's quiz time. So we're going to click on that. What is the tallest mountain in the world? So I'm going to guess Mount Everest. And it goes, yes, well done, bravo, I was correct. I'm going to then go to the next question. What is the capital city of Australia? Well, I know it's Canberra, and even though I've put people off by putting Sydney's Opera House up there, but I do know it's Canberra, but we're going to purposely make a mistake and say it's Sydney. And it's gone, that's unfortunate. The correct answer is Canberra. And that was it. So that was my quiz. Back to answers. Now this works very similar to how I did the contents page. So again, I've done quiz time. I've then linked that to the next slide there, so it automatically moves on a button. And then what I've done is then created additional slides at the end. So the correct answer is Mount Everest. The correct answer is Canberra. That was correct. And that was correct. And what I've done is then linked each of these buttons. So Mount Everest obviously is the right answer. So that is linked just like at the beginning with the contents page. That then links to card 16 and takes them there. Then K2 and Mount Kilimanjaro are then linked to that's incorrect. The correct answer is Mount Everest. I then take these ones and link it to the next question. And when it's my final one, it has a back to contents button. So just to sort of show that again. So the next one, obviously the right answer was Canberra. So I linked that to the correct answer here. That was correct. Sorry, that was this one. That was correct. Well done, because it's my last question I had, so it would take them back to the contents. Or if it was incorrect, so if they put Sydney or Melbourne, it would take them to this one, and it goes, that's unfortunate. The correct answer is Canberra. How you sort of utilize links in order to make it an interactive, quick game. So our next slide that I've created. So on here, I've got 3 tasks around infection control. So it has a case study here. I've added a little gift to tell them that they've got 20 minutes to do all of these tasks. This case study is something I created and uploaded. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. I've given the students a task of what they need to do and then told them to then do these questions in group discussion and answer. And then over here, I'm asking them to then add their group answer to this question, this final question, and pop it on a post-it and add it here. So it's a really nice way to consolidate tasks. If the students want to access this case study, they just click on this link and that makes that bigger and accessible. So how did I add a document? So if you wanted to upload a document, you just press upload here and then you'll be able to upload it from your desktop, or you can just drag and drop the document in. And then from there, you'll be able to open a new document. So I'm just opening this Sandbox and here's my case study. I'm going to just shrink that a little bit So you can see me dragging and dropping. And there we go. So just pop that on here and it puts a copy in. And then it's uploading. It's almost there. And then from there, you now have a document that the students can then access. So this is a one way that you can use the slides. The next one here is getting the students to use imagery. So find an image online that represents a scientific method in action. Share the image and explain in 1 or 2 sentences how it reflects a step in the process. So here I've given them examples, so shows experimentation, observation, data collection or analysis in a scientific context. Post the image here and add a short explanation such as this image shows a scientist measuring liquid representing the experimentation step where data is collected. So if I was the student and that's what I wanted to have show, again we'll go up here to where the search is and it's a scientist measuring liquids. And we go to images to search for it because I've asked for an image. So there you go. So there's where a scientist is measuring. And then the student would then add a comment that links to that image. Obviously, if you have multiple students, you might want to make that smaller. And then I'm going to add a text box, a note for this one here. And I'm going to pop that there and put in here. This image shows a scientist measuring liquid, and obviously they would write the rest of the sentence on as well. There we go. And that's them showing how they understand the data process, but using a fun way like images to actually showcase that. I then asked the same again, but this time you want to do a video, and I've been really specific, 1 to 3 minutes, that highlights a significant historical event. So this one here, I'm looking at the Treaty of Versailles for this example. So very similar to the image, but we want a video. So the students can then go back and watch it as part of the independent study, especially ones that they've shared with others. So again, we're going up to search and explanation of the Treaty of Versailles. And we're going to look in YouTube. That one's 11 minutes. It's far too long. That one's 4 minutes, and obviously we asked for 3. There you go. 1 minute explained in 1 minute. Or we've got here, which is 2.5 minutes. So I'm going to go for this one here. So again, just like the image, they're going to add the video, and then similar to the image, they would then add a post-it explaining what that video showcased. So again, you just shrink it down. There we go. And then add a little post-it explaining it. So this video explains a dot dot dot. And again, the students can then watch this video within here, or they can make it full screen if they want. So they can watch it within the slide, or they can open it up and make it full screen instead. Okay. And finally, on here we have research and present evidence exploring natural disasters, causes and impact. So this one I want the students to research. So I want them to search the web for a recent natural disaster from the last 5 years. So an earthquake, a hurricane, find a credible source that explains what caused the disaster, its impact on the environment and people. So and then they share their thoughts in the group, discuss how regions could prepare for future disaster, and then they post the link to their chosen resource on here, write a short summary, so 2 to 3 sentences, and where and when the disaster occurred. So let's have a look. And we're going to check the web. So obviously they can do this on Chrome and add the link later, or search for the web post and put it on here. So recent disasters. Oh, and that's it. It'll be the California fires. There you go, and they can just click on it, or they could find it, do a bit more searching, look for actual primary or secondary sources, look at the actual link. They could then post the link on here and copy the link in rather than just pasting the link. And if they copy the link in, they then get the image. So if they got the link from the web and just copied it in there, they've got the image, and then that can then be opened into the actual web page as well. And just similar to before, they need to put their little short sentences about where when the disaster occurred. And finally, you can also integrate Padlet into your sandboxes. So because Padlet has some really good functions with commentary and things like that that you don't necessarily get from Sandbox. So just here you can see, you can click on Padlet and it will look at your recent ones or your bookmarks or your library. So I've put one in here which is around foreign language practice. What you can see is we've put some questions on here. We're asking the students to either write or create a video, because you can also create a video. So the students can do that here, where they add, and they can add a document, a link, a video. They can, just like the Sandbox, do an audio recording, a video recording, and then you can play it back. You can allow comments and things like that on the actual Padlet and have a proper little discussion, and also give instant feedback. So that allows you to utilize some of the functions in Padlet which are really effective for that ongoing discussions, feedback, and so on. And then and have that then integrated within your slides as well to make that functionality more cohesive. So that's the overview of the Sandbox functions and the different ways that you can utilize it. So now really it's over to you to see how you can trial out these different functions and your subject with your students and what works best for you. So let's confirm our session objectives. So hopefully you now have a better understanding of Padlet's Sandbox feature. You've explored its potential for boosting classroom engagement and experienced practical application of using Sandbox that you can now take into your own delivery. Thank you very much for watching this recording of our Professional Development Week event. Please complete this feedback form, as we really value your feedback from our sessions. Thank you very much.